Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the Game Box Power M9. But the question remains, what are we going to get? So the reason I was making these videos is just to help you out to find, let's say, the good stuff. Because most of these handhelds have a lot of issues. And I'm hoping always like people see these videos before they are going to buy something like this. But most of the time you will be disappointed. Because you're burning away a lot of money and you're going to get a piece of crap. Here you can see like we have different versions out there. I'm going to get the black red edition. It also comes with sub. The only thing you're going to get like letters sub on it. Nothing to do with sub or supreme, but you're just doing it because over there they are just freaking naughty. But when it comes to Chinese handhelds from Wish, AliExpress, Amazon, oh man, you can find these things everywhere. Well, there is always a question, what are you going to get? Because the Game Box doesn't have a common name, there's not really a brand out there. Yeah, it says type M9, but the Game Box is just a basic name they are going to use for many of these handhelds. Alright, so let's take a close look inside. So here we're going to get the handheld itself, of course. A lot of plastic. We're going to get an old school mini USB. Oh man, even now that we're going to get these devices, they are still using old school EV out and a mini USB. Of course, the toilet paper manual like always, with some basic explanations in an Asian language, I think it's Chinese, and then of course with English, and some basic explanation like the B key is function key, the C key is also function key, and stuff like that. Not really information that we can use. But let's take a close look at the handle itself. Whoa. Huh. So let's take a close look at it. Oh, see, this is what I mean, like they call it the Game Box M9, but here it says 16-bit. That is so confusing. So can it only play 16-bit, or can it play more? Let's find out. First of all, the smell test. I must say that it smells very nice. Ooh, we're going to get this very nice flame logo on the back. Over here we're going to get the BL5C, if I'm saying it correctly. This is the basic old school Nokia battery. Inside this is having 12 milliamp. There are a lot of different versions out there, like having 1050 or 1020 milliamp. But you can buy them always, like it's very convenient if it gets broken or you just want to have a couple of spare ones for on the go. Super convenient. Over here we're going to get the on and off switch, the AV out for the signal out, mini USB. You're going to get this, oh man. This seems to be like the volume control, they hide it over there. Then we're going to get the SD card, so let's check it out. 4GB, brandless like always. But let's take a close look at the controls. Okay, so the control itself here at the left, we're not having a D-pad at all. We're going to get the slider joystick. I can say like it's similar to the PlayStation Portable. Then I'm going to get 6 buttons: home, select, start, and that's it. And of course, at the back, already shown you, but I'll show you again, there are no freaking shoulder buttons, or back buttons in this case. But that was like the problem with these devices. So they are limited to the controls, but the question remains, what can we do with it? Because sometimes it's so super confusing, and not only confusing, it's like, what are we going to get? And is it even running the emulation pretty good? So let's turn it on. This is the 3-inch display, and I must say that it's not even a very good display. Oh great, there's not enough power. Oh boy. Okay, so let's take a close look at the menu itself. First, let's zoom in a little bit, because we're going to get a very glossy, annoying front glass, and this is like just plastic, no Gorilla Glass whatsoever, so it will scratch up very easily. Over here we're going to get the thumbnails. The thumbnails cannot be changed out. It's like, this is what you see, it's what you're going to get. Support for NES, GBA, Mega Drive, Super Famicom, and MAME. And over here we can go to the settings. We're having here normal settings. Now the normal settings is just like language, product information, factory default, and here we can choose which output you want to use. The LCD is like the LCD, and the NTSC and the PAL is basically like the signal output. Okay, let's go back, let's press home, power settings. Here we're going to get this more like, let's close this or close the screen, or just automatically go off if you don't use it. That's it, that's the only thing that we can change out. No software updates, nothing at all. So let's try some games and let's see how it's running. Okay, so first up let's start with the NES part. Alright, so the end looks like it's quite responsive. cannot say that about my reflexes for this game. And there are no turbo buttons, only having like A and B for functional. Huh. Seems to be working just fine. And when I'm pressing the home button, then we're going to get the option to do a quick load, quick save. I've seen this before with let's say many of these. Next up, Game Boy Advance. And most of the time they mess it up with this system. No sound delay. The emulation is not spot on, I can already tell you that, but it's getting really close now. You can see like minor hiccups, but that's it. Woohoo! You can listen to the soundtracks of the Sega Genesis. Oh, for a cheap device, I'm surprised. Ow. The weird thing is, like with Super Famicom, they always seem to be messing it up, or it's not running perfectly. But now with this game and this version, they fixed a lot of issues. But don't get me wrong, it's that it will not be perfect, especially when it comes to Super Epic game. I will help you find it. Ooh, we like dangerous. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm curious about how this will run when it comes to MAME, because MAME is always like this problematic. The same with Super NES. Take consideration when it comes to budget devices. Don't think a Super Street Fighter 3 third strike will run perfectly, or other very high demanding systems. It's more like the really old school games will run just fine. As you can see over here, the analog stick works just fine, especially with games like these. Okay, what I find like the biggest downside to these devices, so now I try to put them on the other display, and even if I manage to get it on the display, if I accidentally like touch this freaking AV out cable, it will reset the system and it doesn't go back to the system itself, or sometimes it does go back. It's just a messy situation. Here you can see like it doesn't even work at the moment. So the AV out functionality, it seems to be working sometimes, but when it's working, oh boy, you need to be very careful. So let's plug it in again. And you can see like it doesn't even get a signal or whatever. So it's kind of weird, man. It's kind of messed up. Okay guys, so let's do a quick teardown. By the way, you can see all of my fingers on the display, everything, like it's a freaking nightmare, man. So let's do a quick teardown. I already said it, like repeating myself. Teardown, teardown, let's rip this bloody thing apart. I think like the only thing that we need to do are removing the 6 Parkers over here. Some of these devices are like glued together or maybe clicked together, but I'm hoping this is not the case with this version. Number 5. And of course then the last one, number 6. Okay, so let's lift it up very carefully. So this is just the top shell, nothing attached to it. Over here, what are we going to get in the inside? The scrolling wheel. Okay, there's not a lot of information. Let's remove the SD card to be sure. Sometimes I accidentally like completely destroyed it because I slightly bent it when you're trying to lift out the PCB. And there was only one screw for the Parker in the middle that keeps everything in position. So in my opinion, that's not a very good construction. I've seen with other game boxes, the only thing they had like a couple of them lay all over the PCB. Let's see if we can lift it out, because I want to see what kind of chip and stuff is inside. Oh man, it struggles big time to get it out. Something is holding it back. I don't know what it is. The speaker is loose over here. Oh yeah, I know what it is. I got a brain fart, my friends. I need to remove this bloody thing so I can just lift it out. That was the thing. Yeah, Wicked had a brain fart, absolutely. So over here, this is the other shell. This is just normal plastic, nothing special. The speaker hole, and they're going to get this gigantic cheap membrane system like in the old days, only they're using different kind of quality now. Okay, there's one big PCB. There is no information whatsoever on the chip. Seems like they send it off and that's it. There is not even like a freaking serial number on the LCD they are using. So that's it. You can replace the number. I can see here we're having right away a number. The LCD is from 2020 and this device is from 2022. So that's it, folks. That's the only thing that we're going to get from information. Sadly, there's no information when it comes to the chips itself. What do I think of the Game Box M9 16-bit edition? So this is like the cheap to the cheap when it comes to these devices. And I must say the overall performance when it comes to the emulation, it's not, let's say, perfect, but that's what you're going to get with cheap devices from AliExpress. That's just a fact. I've reviewed so many of these freaking things. It's just something will never change. Only the emulation itself is slightly better if you're looking at the first generation of a couple of years ago. But still, they're getting, let's say, not really better. And there's another thing you need to take consideration. But then overall, what do I think of it? So I had some issues with this device that my display keep scrolling over here. Kind of weird situation. No idea why this is. It just did it after I unboxed it. I played around with it and it started to have issues like this. The TV out function also doesn't work and a lot of these minor problems. It's a little bit of a bummer. So consider like if you're going to get your cheap device like this, we will have some issues. So maybe better to save up some money and to get a real brand like Anbenic. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit the little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.